Hey, Dustin Tibbetts here, financial advisor with Jazz Wealth Managers. How you doing today? Hope you're having a great day so far. We're financial advisors here, and the idea is that rather than say, okay, we only want to work with the high net worth individuals, of course, we will take you if you're welcome to consider us here, but we want to work with everybody. We want everyone to know where they stand in terms of their net worth, their investments, their workplace investments, and know that they're on track to get towards whatever their goal may be in retirement. And one of the things that we can't do is let you get to retirement only to find out you don't have enough money. A lot of times that has to do with investments, but unfortunately financial advisors, some of them tend to take the lazy approach. So I want to highlight something with you today. I'm going to use the Nest Egg software, which is a financial planning software that we offer to every one of our customers here. We're going to just dive in and take a look at this here. I'm going to use a fictitious character because this sort of corresponds to a customer of ours. And I don't want to share the customer's name and everything, but I've built a fictitious character. We'll call him Duke Ellington. How about that? Isn't that kind of fitting? Old Jazz Wealth. Duke Ellington. Anyways, Mr. Duke is 32 years old, right? So he's 32 now. This is his profile. He's got $1,800 in expenses. We're going to go over that in a second, but he's a single guy, and that's how he files his taxes. He's got a 401k. We'll do this briefly just to not bore you with the details, but he's got a 401k, 3% that he puts in. He gets a 3% match. He gets a 100% match up to 3%. So he's looking good there, and he does $2,200 in his Roth IRA. Let's get this over here a little bit. There we go. And so he's doing $2,200. He does that a year and he raises it by 3%. Try to combat some inflation. When we calculate your number for you as a new customer here at Jazz, we're going to go through and use 3% as just as a starting point for your inflation. He currently makes $66,000 a year, gets the normal 3% raise a year. We're going to estimate his Social Security. You'll see that in a moment. He wants to retire at age 67. This is actually true for him in real life, the actual customer I'm talking about. He's got monthly expenses in retirement that he'd like to spend about $5,000 a month in future dollars. The system will calculate that for us. And he's going to spend an average, it's an estimated healthcare cost that, of course, will be adjusted for inflation. When we look at his net worth, you can see his investments here. He's got his 401k that we previously talked about. We can even see the investments that he has in there. He's got his Roth IRA in the system here as well, and he just chose an indexed ETF for that one to do that. Now, when we look at his property, you can see he pays rent of $1,800 a month, so he's not a homeowner, and we're going to just assume that that's what's going to happen going forward with normal cost of living increases there. So, knowing what you now know about Mr. Duke, let's see what his chances are of making it to retirement. Oh boy. We got a big fat goose egg there. So he has a 0% chance of making it to retirement or through the lifespan of his retirement without running out of money. It means in every scenario we can run, literally over 1,000 scenarios, he will run out of money every single time. Not looking too good there for him. So let's see what's going on. If we look at his overall cash flow, the system will tell him his entire income for the year, his total income, if he had other income, his total expenses, tax payments, his planned savings. This is going to be his Roth IRA and his 401k contributions, his, not his employer's. And so he's got a total of $59,688 going out each year. That leaves him with a little extra cash that just gets spent on randomness or whatever comes up along the way, or we assume maybe his expenses are a little off. But he's got a positive cash flow. He ends with a personal profit at the end of every year, at least going through these years here. As we look through, we find out, oh, he retires, and now we've got a bit of an issue. He retires at 67. This is his current income coming in. His expenses, of course, inflated for inflation. Tax payment, total outflows $263. He runs short by $208,000, so we got to make that up somewhere. Now, a lot of people look at that and say, well, he's in real trouble here. But what's happening is, as we go through the age of 67, he's starting to withdraw from his 401k. If you look up here at the top, this is his 401k. So he did retire. He's now ready to start making withdrawals. He has the Roth IRA as well. It's been building nicely over time, inflated as well. And now it's time to start making withdrawals from the account there. So as he was building up year over year over year, now we're starting to reduce the $208,000 and nothing yet from the Roth. We're not taking any money out there. So that's still getting a chance to build. Well, as the years go on, look what happens. He runs out of money, 71 years old. His Roth IRA, we start making withdrawals from that, but that only buys him a few more years. He runs out of money when he's 73 years old. There's just no chance he's going to fill his expense needs in retirement. Now, let me tell you this. The lazy answer for a financial advisor is to say, Mr. Duke, you have to invest more, right? You're putting $2,200 away in your Roth. You're putting 3% away in your 401k. The easy answer is, Duke, invest more money. Now, I know he has more money because I just saw it on his summary there, right? I know that if this is accurate and he's being honest with himself, I know that he's got a little extra cash there. So the easy answer is to say, Duke, put some more money in there and that'll take care of it. But that's the easy answer, right? If you have a financial advisor, if you're working with somebody, tell them, no, I don't like that. Go see what else you can do. Well, the first place I always start here when I'm looking at someone's account and they're running short is their investments. With what I have here, we manage at Jazz Wealth, and what I can see because they've linked it in the system. Well, if I look at Mr. Duke, I find out, whoa, man, you got most of your money in bonds. You're ultra conservative. In fact, your portfolio is yielding only 3.9%. Well, that's hurting you. You're 32 years old. That hurts you in the long run. We need to address that right there, right? So here's what we find out. He does have a lot in bonds. And to be truthful, if I go back and I look at his 401k, I can see he's got a couple ETFs here that are really conservative, bond focused, right? Short-term, long-term bonds in there. So not really good. We find out that he's nervous about the markets, and because of that, he's chosen not to invest very aggressively. He heard bonds were safe. He invested in bonds. I say, okay, that's a problem because you're running out of money. Now, you're 32. You've got all your life to make up for this. He's worried that the markets will fall here in the next couple of years, and I go, that's the short term. Nobody cares about your short-term opinion if it affects your whole life, right? So we've got to bump up that investment. Now over here, we've got an idea to say, what happens if we just put them conservative, right? What happens if we just bump it up a little bit? We shoot for like a 5.5% return, a little more volatility, but he's scared, so we want to bump him up slowly. In order to do that, I know exactly where we have to move money. He needs $20,000 more in more growth equities. He needs a little money internationally. We could debate some of these, of course, in here. But the main point is we have to reduce his bond exposure by about half of his net worth, right? So we've got to start working on that. If for some reason we did that, and we did the conservative approach, we go back to his cash flows here, and we say, okay, look, he agreed to be conservative. What happens there? It's not going to be great, but at least it's something. Now he's on the chart. He's 3%. He's on the chart. Things are working here. So we have a sort of a negotiation to have with Mr. Duke. We can say, either way, you have to increase your growth potential here. You've got to take a little bit more risk. Now, we can do this in a couple ways. You can let me go bump up your investments just a little bit, and you could choose to come in here and put max out your 401k, because I know you can. I'm sorry, max out your Roth IRA, because I know you can. You have plenty of money left over. If you let me do that, you're still going to run out of money. But check this out. You got a 13% chance of success. That tells you that along the way, he just made a few more years up. All right, cool. So now he doesn't run out of money officially until his 82nd birthday. Where were we before, right? We were way up here, 73. We bought him 9 years by just simply making the tiniest change and having him contribute. But again, lazy answer to adjust the investments and to go put more money in there is the lazy approach. So let's go back here and say, how do you feel about being moderate, right? I know you don't want to put any more money in. You got to take a little more risk, right? Let's do it slowly. I understand the emotion behind people that are investing and are a little bit timid about the market, but I really don't care at the end of the day. I'm dead inside. I have to make these numbers add up, because if you could you imagine the reviews we would get if I had people retiring and in retirement and they ran out of money? That can't happen. No financial advisor can do that. So we've got to keep playing around in here. And if it means me pulling you along a little bit, I'll have to do that. Look, if we change to moderate here, which is given us, well, let's go back. I'll show you where it's at. If we change in here to moderate, we've got this at about a 6.9% average return with that mix there, the way we kind of have it plugged in at the moment. A little more volatility, and in fact, it's going to be twice as much volatility for him overall. It doesn't really show that perfectly on this chart, but it's going to be about twice as much volatility. But now we're looking better, all because we simply changed the investments. And he goes, well, yeah, but I have the index fund. I should be fine, right? You have the index fund in such a small account, it's not making much difference. Yeah, but Dustin, I read a book that said go buy an index fund, so I bought an index fund. I get it, but it's not getting you to your goal. You need to do more. Mr. Duke Ellington, you got to do more. Now, what happens if we do this? We say, let's just go to 4,000. You're going to have to kick in a little bit more money if you're not willing to be aggressive. Now we got a 45% chance of him making it to retirement. He's still going to run out of money, but his picture's starting to look better. And because I can quantify this, because I can show him on the chart here that there is a chance you will make it to retirement, a slim one, but there is a slim chance that you will make it through your life without running out of money by just simply adjusting your investments. That pulls a little emotion out, doesn't it? that lets him think, okay, I'm going to have to just grin and bear it. I may have to look away at some points. If I think the markets are going to fall in the next couple of years, I may have to go do something else and not pay attention to my investments. But I know that in the long run, it's going to make sense. And if I don't make this change, it will, in fact, hurt me there. So he's got some decisions to make there, whether he wants to add a lot of dollars and not change his investments, or whether he wants to add a few dollars and change his investments a little bit. Meet me in the middle there. And a lot of times, that's the conversation I have with customers. I'll say, look, I mean, the simple answer is just put a lot more money away. I know you have it. I can see the money that you have in the system there, but that's the simple answer. I don't think that's the best answer. I think there's got to be a way that we tweak all of your investments, everything, your 401k, your pension expectations, your Social Security, whatever it may be. We've got to go in there and find that right combination. And so he's getting there, right? His name is not Duke Ellington. Hopefully you guys know who Duke Ellington is, but I hope you enjoyed that. That was just a little bit different way to look at things here using our nest egg there. If it's something that interests you, hope maybe you'll keep us in mind at Jazz Wealth. If you are an older individual, you have some money and you go, nobody's ever done that for me. I've got a financial advisor. I never hear from the guy. He never works this stuff up for me. Or you don't have enough money and they don't want to talk to you. Well, keep us in mind at Jazz Wealth. I hope you'll check out our website there. We manage our own portfolios, so we can literally make any little adjustment we want for you with zero cost. There are no expense ratios, no hidden costs or anything like that. It's just all part of it, right? So it's not going to kill you by making little adjustments. We can do it over and over again. Have a great rest of your day. We'll be back at 5 o'clock today, of course, to talk about the stock market show we do called The Closing Beat. It's on our YouTube channel, Jazz Wealth. It'll be live at 5 o'clock Eastern, and hope to see you there. Enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for watching.
Why should you choose Jazz Wealth as your retirement or long-term investing service? Our portfolios are managed by us, not some faceless mutual fund manager. Our private classes will teach you everything about investing and getting your dough straight. Best of all, our fiduciary standard means your best interest comes before ours.